Hi, I'm in Melbourne. Now, you may know that being in Melbourne is something that I'm working towards for my family. We're going to be living here soon. And we are spending this weekend here for my husband's birthday. And I decided to do something a little different to what I would normally do. So normally we would stay in a hotel and we would have all the bells and whistles and we would have room service. This time around, knowing that we're planning to move to Melbourne, I decided to have a trial of living in an apartment in Melbourne in the area where we want to live. So I think I've actually succeeded, because despite all the grumbles about lack of room service, lack of cocktail bar, we are really relaxed, and we are already less than 24 hours in getting very excited about the idea of living in an apartment in this part of Melbourne soon. So it got me thinking about trial periods of things that we do in our business when we're aiming for growth. And it got me thinking about the things that we don't do when we're fearful and when we get stuck in overthinking and procrastination and worrying about the impact of big decisions. So our move to Melbourne has taken quite some time to get the ball rolling. So tomorrow we'll be looking at properties. How exciting. I might even show you a couple on my Instagram stories if you want to watch. Just like any big decision, so we're moving here partly for family reasons, partly for business reasons. Any big decision that you're going to take in your business will give you that moment where you just feel like you need to pause. And if you pause too long, you get stuck. So I was thinking today about examples like recruitment. Many times people, particularly mentoring clients, will say to me, you know what, I really am struggling with how much of a load I'm carrying, whether that's administrative tasks, whether it's the key functions of their business, whether it's the clinical work they might be doing if they're in private practice. And they'll say, you know, I really feel like I need to recruit someone to help me, but I don't know where to start, and I'm really scared of getting the wrong person. And that's probably the number one fear that people carry into recruitment exercises, especially if they're new to the game: getting the wrong person. Now, did you know, if you're recruiting, for example, an admin staff member, there are a number of ways that you could offer a trial for that person. You could say, okay, let's do a little trial period of an afternoon where you come in and we'll see how you feel about how the practice runs, and we'll see how we feel about you being in the practice or being in my business, and we'll see if we're a match for each other. Now, I would encourage you to pay the person for that trial period of time, but it's an opportunity for each of you to suss each other out. Almost like a top-end final interview, if you like. Similarly, with other things we do in our businesses, we can break them down into smaller, manageable chunks that give us decision points along the way. So for us, I was fully prepared for this weekend to be a nightmare. And I don't mean I was predicting disaster. What I mean was I was okay and open with us spending the weekend in an apartment in the area of Melbourne where we want to live, and realising, maybe this isn't such a great idea after all. That's the beauty of a trial period, or that's the beauty of breaking things down into smaller chunks that you can test out and figure out for yourself whether investing in the larger version is the right decision for you. So where we are staying right now, it doesn't totally suck. We've got rather a good view of Melbourne, and we're trying not to let the beautiful view distract us from this notion of, yes, we're going to have a fabulous week here with a weekend here with family and friends, but we're also testing the waters of living in an apartment. We're moving from a house with beautiful garden, and living in an apartment with kids is a really different lifestyle. So you know what? We might sign on a lease tomorrow for a property, and we might sign on for 12 months, and 6 months down the track, we might hate it. That's okay. We won't have spent every last red cent buying a property before we've tried living in this kind of lifestyle change. So I want you to think about a version of that kind of decision that you need to make in your business. Think about, what is something big that I have had to decide or have got on my horizon that I need to make a decision about, and I'm stuck in inaction. It might be fear of criticism that's keeping you stuck, or it might be fear of financial liability that's keeping you stuck, or it might just be fear of failure, fear of success. It might be that this is the first time you've done this particular thing and you have no idea where to turn. Great example is getting your social media profile started for your business, building that up. In fact, today I spent the most beautiful time with a very old friend of mine. We used to work together back in the early 1990s in the music industry. She's now a professional photographer, and we did a photo shoot today for some photos for me to use for my website and social media content. And we were talking about her experience as a photographer of being a business owner and knowing what she needs to do for her marketing, but finding it an interesting challenge to step in front of the camera, because of course she's always behind it. So we talked a little bit about that and what it's like for mental health professionals too, to become visible outside of the consulting room, similar for the photographer to be the one in front of the camera. Really interesting conversation. I wish it had been a podcast episode, which has got me thinking, so watch out, Lisa. So think about these things that we do as business owners. It might be recruitment. It might be taking on a lease for the first time. It might be moving into bigger space. It might be diversifying your brand and taking on a new course of action for your business. It might be buying a business. There are so many opportunities for you to stop and think about, put the fear to one side. What are the manageable chunks of this decision that are feasible for me to break down and handle one at a time? So moving into bigger space or taking on a lease for the first time, you can negotiate a commercial lease length. You can have a conversation with the commercial agent. Say, you know what, I'd really like to do a 1-year lease to start, and then if it's all working out, how about we then go for a 5-year lease beyond that? Everything's negotiable in business, so don't be afraid to have those kinds of conversations. Recruitment, you can go through a temp agency to start with to see what it feels like to employ someone. If you've never employed anyone before and you've got all of these worries floating around your head, but you desperately need the help, start out with a temp agency. All care, no responsibility on your shoulders. They look after the responsibility of all the pay and tax and all that stuff to do with the staff member, and they invoice you. And yes, it costs you more than it would to employ someone directly, but it's a great opportunity for you to try before you buy, for you to try having an employee, for you to try being the leader of a team. So think about those big decisions. So just like me, spending a weekend in an apartment so my family and I can get the feel of what it might be like to be living in an apartment rather than in a house, translate that into your business. See what you can figure out for yourself, how you can break those decisions down into smaller, bite-sized chunks so you don't feel so overwhelmed, so you don't feel that it's all too big and you don't get stuck in inaction and indecision and procrastination. Easy, right? Have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. Bye.